After exploring lots of theories of education and lots of sociological ideas about why some children do better than others, it's time for us to consider this big question. Is the education system in the UK meritocratic? Now, meritocracy is the idea that a system is fair in that it offers an equality of opportunity to all. Now, in education, to claim that the system is meritocratic is to say that if you have a good natural ability and you work hard, then you will be rewarded for your efforts. So does this happen? Are the brightest rewarded for their efforts? Now we know that all people start off in different situations socially. So when they get into the education system, is there really equality of opportunity for all? Or are there always going to be some students at an advantage and some at a disadvantage? So the issue of meritocracy is one that's very much split between the theories that we've discussed in our lessons for the last few months. Meritocracy, yes, according to functionalists and new right theorists. So their approach is very much that everyone is given the same chances. And some people just don't do very well because it's just that not all children and families take these chances. But on the other side, we've got people like Louis Althusser here, a Neo-Marxist, who would say a clear no. So our Marxists, feminists, and even our interactionists would be pointing out that not everyone has the same chances for a variety of reasons. So when students come to school, they're from a variety of socio-economic, ethnic backgrounds. And there have been efforts to level the playing field throughout recent history. Let's just think about some of the key differences and milestones in social policy in UK education. Let's start with the Butler Act in 1944. Now, this introduced the tripartite system of secondary education, and this was when all students had to take an exam. It was known as the 11+ exam. And if people passed this exam, they would get to go to grammar schools. And from there, they'd be able to take qualifications and go into professional careers. So this was opening up the professions to even working class students. So the focus was on offering equality of opportunity. Now, in reality, many of the people that ended up in the grammar schools tended to be middle class. And so in the 1960s, there was a switch to the idea of comprehensive schools, and comprehensive means all. So the grammar schools were abolished, and instead all children went to the same school and were set or streamed for ability. Again, this was a focus on giving all an equal chance to succeed. I suppose the most recent big change in education was the Education Reform Act in 1988. Now, this really offered equality of opportunity in the sense that it introduced something called the national curriculum. So for the first time, everyone was going to study and be tested in the same way. So girls and boys would be studying the same qualifications, and there would be SATs and GCSEs. And GCSEs offered everyone to sit an exam, the same kind of exam. Again, the focus then is about offering equality of opportunity to all. So let's have a look at the people that we've studied who would say meritocratic, yes. Now, these tend to be our functionalists and our new right theorists. So first of all, let's recall people like Parsons, who quite clearly said that the education system is fair and equal. Education is for everyone, and it offers that bridge to the workplace. The other people that we studied that were very keen to promote the idea of meritocracy are Davis and Moore. And remember, they talked about sifting and sorting people into appropriate roles, so the idea of role allocation. But remember, the idea is that we were all sifted and sorted. We were all given the same chances to take the same qualifications. So we all have a chance. And then there's our new right theorists. Now, I know that we've studied Charles Murray. Now, he talks of the underclass, and he's very critical of parents. In terms of meritocracy, then, Murray would be saying, yes, the system is meritocratic. It's just there are some parents that don't take these chances. So failure in education is really down to bad parenting. And then we have even more controversial claims from new right theorists. So somebody like Peter Saunders is known for his ideas that, yes, the system is meritocratic, and if we fail, it's just a reflection of talent, and some social groups just have more talent than others. And then on the other side of the debate, we've got meritocratic, no way. And I think you know that this is going to be from our conflict theorists. So first of all, let's look at our Neo-Marxists and people like Althusser, who would claim that meritocracy is just a myth that the working class are fed to really keep them under control and to keep them distracted. And then we've got Bowles and Gintis. And remember, they were saying that education is up to something else. It's up to, there is a hidden curriculum operating against the working classes in order to make them into obedient workers for the future. And I suppose one of the most powerful attacks on meritocracy that we've discussed is the idea of material deprivation. So we know that material deprivation, through people like Smith and Noble, presents barriers to learning for those on low incomes. So meritocratic, no, because too many hurdles are put in the way if you just don't have the money to be able to access education, as some people do. And then our other conflict theory, feminism, who again argue that chances in education are not fair. There's a hidden curriculum operating against girls. And we've looked at people like Kelly, who talks about gendered language in textbooks and in the classroom, and how that has an impact on the performance of girls. And we've looked at Cully and ideas about colonisation of space by boys, so marginalising girls within the school environment. And then we could say that even in school, things aren't fair. And this is where our interactionists would be looking. And I just want you to think of the main ideas that interactionist sociologists bring to the fore. Things like labelling theory, self-fulfilling prophecy, anti-school subcultures. And think about how they make chances less fair. So to name just a few, we could look at Gilbourne, who argues that black boys are more likely to be excluded because of the negative labels that white teachers put on them. And then we've looked at some studies that say that teachers have very positive expectations of some and not of others. So studies like Keddy and Rosenthal and Jacobson really point towards these ideas. And then within ethnicity, we've looked at Tickley and Cord, showing that the curriculum even seems to exclude some groups of children. And also we might apply this to gender issues, and Mitsos and Brown, who are pointing towards coursework lending itself to the skills and tendencies to study that girls seem to have more than boys. And then we've also looked at the idea of lack of role models in school to really inspire and engage some students. But we could argue that times have changed and social policies have really transformed the landscape. So think about things that we call compensatory educational schemes. These are things that are making up for the differences between students. Think about free school meals, breakfast clubs, bursaries, pupil premium. So some people use these as evidence that material deprivation is no longer a significant factor. We've got equal opportunities policies. Every child matters. We've got more male teachers than ever before. So all of these changes in society seem to suggest that maybe it's more meritocratic than ever. So, is the UK education system meritocratic? Are there equal opportunities for all? Well, I'll leave you to decide, but I really don't think so.